Hi guys, I'm Ashif Ali and watching CGHOW video. Today I will make this water effect, stylized water effect in this tutorial from scratch step by step so you can understand everything. And if you like this tutorial, please like my video, share and comment and subscribe. And also do me a favor, go to my channel, go to this link and contribute something here, and also check other links like I have my website, my Patreon, Twitter, Fab, lots of things are there. So you can just check. If you want files, you can also go to store here, and I have also a custom Fortnite game that I play. I created it, so this is the code if you want to play with me, and also you can check all these effects that I added in this game. So let's start this tutorial now. So let's just start it. So I have this map which has this water layer and some mountains. So basically this is this level, this open world, and I have just placed a box here that has this material which is very basic. Just a water texture with multiplying this blue color, and this is just it. So let's make effects. So I'll just first I need a beam, and for that I need a slender. And you can, I have already some slender, but if you don't have, you can just simply take a take a slender from any of your 3D software. And what I'll do next, I'll just, let me just add some segments into the height. Maybe I'll make this longer, not that much, this much, and maybe, okay, not much. You can just make it very low poly if you want. And I'll just select faces and select the upper, then select these and delete this cap. And same thing I will do here in the bottom. So select, deselect, delete. Oops, something wrong happened here. Deselect all from the back, and that's it. Now the pivot is here, so I will select this and move this to here, or you can move it like this if you want pivot here. So depends where you want the pivot. Okay, so I will just keep it here like this. Although you can rotate that, that doesn't matter. And you can also change the pivot in Niagara. So now the pivot is here. One more thing I'll do here, the UVs. It's not fit in this box 0 to 1, 0 to 1. So I'll just select all UV, right click with shift and normalized. So it now fit. So basically this is top, this is bottom. Okay. So I'll just export this on the desktop. I'll call it SM. Let's call it tube, SM tube. And one more thing I want is I want a torus that will be like this, exactly like this, but I think not that thick. I'll decrease the second radius, maybe 0.3 is fine. And you can reduce the segment if you want, like this much is, this much should be enough. So I will also export this. You can cut it half if you want. So you can just cut these part if you want, but we will cut that in material. So no worries. So SM torus. Okay. And UVs are flat already by default. Okay. So I think that's two things I need. So I'll just import that from my desktop and SM torus, SM tube, and I will import. Okay, both came with this Lambert material. I don't need that. I will delete and just save all. So first I will make for this tube. So let's say we want to make a like a beam of water. So I'll just make a material M water beam, you can call it. Okay. And if I preview that cylinder, already it has a cylinder here, but I'll use mine. It doesn't have caps, but it has caps. So now first thing, a noise texture. So I have already, and I have tutorials for that if you don't know how to make. So if I press T and take here aura, this one, I have a separate tutorial on how to make this. And if you still guys struggling how to create this, my next tutorial will be about this texture. So just wait for tomorrow. I will make this texture from scratch, step by step, how to make exactly like this texture. Okay, so tomorrow. So basically this will be unlit of course, but that doesn't mean it will be translucent. So this will be like opaque and doesn't need to make two-sided because we are not going inside it. And if I connect this like this will preview, yeah, and you can use the power to make little contrast in it, so you will see the black and white more clearly like this. First thing what I'll do, let's take a color and I'll take the blue color. Cool, so this will be blue. Then I will add this noise on this blue color. So it will add white noise on this blue color. Let it preview. Let me make some space in here. So you can see. Let me make it a little more darker, I guess. And you can also increase this to 0.5. So it will be more contrast in it. Okay, cool. Then next thing is you can just pan it on the y direction. Okay, and then you can take texture coordinate and just connect it. You can see this is going up, but we need it go down. So I'll just make it -1. So texture is just panning down and it's panning down here. And it looks little like same. So to make it a little fluidy, I'll just take one more texture sampler and here I'll type blur. I have a noise texture that is blur and it is just a cloud pattern in Photoshop that I'm using Gaussian blur on it. So this is very simple and I will cover this also tomorrow in my texture tutorial. Okay, so basically I'll use the same panel in this texture coordinate and I will use this noise to distort this like this. So I will adding this noise in the UVs of this and this is totally distorted, but it doesn't look cool. So what I'll do, first I don't want 100% distortion, maybe just 60%. So I'm just using 60% distortion. Second thing, when you distort a texture with another texture, the speed of panning should be different. So I'll make this little slower, 0.7 minus 0.7 and now this is 1. So now you can see that fluidy feel here. Cool. And this is already looking very cool. And one more thing you can do, you can take a Fresnel if you like. And if I preview that Fresnel on the cylinder, this is how it will look. Let it preview. I don't know why this is taking time. I'll just make this 2 and take a power here. So basically after power, I will have just the edge. Okay. You can increase this if you want very thin edges. And I will add this thing. This is too much. 2 is perfect. I will add this here. So it will be also add as white edge on this blue. Although if you want the variation in the color, you can also do that, but I think this is fine. So one more thing you can do, if your cylinder, if your this tube has sufficient polygons, sufficient faces, vertex, you can use this noise texture and take this texture and use in the vertex normal, multiply it and multiply it again and connect here. And this multiply is the value of how much I want. So let's say 5. So this will be distorted, this mesh actually. Something is weird here. It's not working. It should supposed to working. Let me just check one thing. If I open this and this mesh looks very different, but I exported. So let me just undo here. Yeah, this looks different, this mesh. So I will export this and let me check the UVs. Perfect. I will export this again as a FBX and I'll export it on the tube. In my Unreal, I will re-import this. I think LOD is, let me just delete and import it. I think the import setting is different. Let me just do it. I'll import one by one. First, I'll import this tube and let me check. Oh, this is really weird. This is weird. Let me check. So I'll just pause the video for now. So for now, I have checked everything. This is very weird. If you any of your guys face this issue or know the solution, please comment below the video. So for now, I'll just skip this and I have already some sliders that I will use. So I'm just deleting it. I have also Taurus, so no worry. So I'll just search in my CGHOW static mesh and if I search CYL, I have Blender and this is perfect. So we can use it. So I'll just use it and I'll use it here. Let's see how that. Yeah, so this looks cool. But this distortion, I don't want that much. Maybe just. So I will decide it later. Yeah, this looks cool. So I'll make some dynamic parameters. First thing is about the speed. So I'll just take a time and multiply. Connect this here. And this single parameter is a speed parameter for both pans. So I'll just call it pan. Second thing, this. So this is WPO. Third thing, you can make this a particle color. Instead of using blue here, you can use that blue in the particles. And I think that's it for now. So let's save it. So I'll just open this Blender so I can use that in Niagara also. So now I'll make a Niagara here and just take this and exporter. And here I'll take the, I'm still thinking about the issue that's just going on in my mind. What what the issue? I don't know. Okay, I will solve it later. If you guys know, comment. If I'll figure it out, I will do it. Okay, so I'll just delete all these I don't need for now. And I just need one particle. And that should be just spawn once and live forever. So life is infinite. Instead of a sprite, this should be a mesh. And that mesh should be this slender. I will just use it here. And then I'll use this material. So I'll just override the material and use that here. Cool. So this looks very small. And one thing, we need to change the color of water, color of this. So this is how it looks. I'll just make it local and just save it. So we can drag it into the viewport here. And now you can see this is very, very small. So we can just make this big. So I'll just make this, although you have to compare it with the character. So you can just compare. So I'll just take the idle and just take this mannequin. And actually it should be bigger than mannequin. So I'll just increase the size, maybe 20. And 3 is still very small, maybe 50. Yeah, this looks fine. I'll just rotate this and place it here. Okay, so I'll just move this here. Okay, so I think, yeah, this looks fine, but this is very, like, the radius is high, so I'll just make this non-uniform, and I'll make the height 60, but the radius maybe 30. So it's long, but radius less. The next thing is we have dynamic parameters for the speed, that will be 1, and for WPO that you can increase how much you need. So now you can see. Cool. So one more thing you can do, you can like spawn random if you want, and that's scaling down. You can do this. So, but I will not do that. So let's make this little faster, not that much. Maybe 2 is enough. And I think WPO should, yeah, this looks fine. Now we need that's something here, splashes, and that's slender, and also this should be like little white from here. So what we can do in the material, I don't need this, in the material, we need to add some white here. So basically, let me just take the blue color again so we can visualize, but before saving, I will use the particle color. Okay, so I will just change it. So basically I need it to be white from here. So it's because it's interacting with the ground. So if you're using translucent, you can use a depth fade that will work for you. But we will just use a gradient. So I'll just take this, take a mask, if I preview, and I'll invert this and just divide it and with a very less value. So it has this cool white here. And then you can use power if you want. Cool. I think 0.03 is enough. So this math is basically what I'm doing. If you have this gradient, you can also use power to reduce that radius, the gradient. But you can see the difference. This is like a basic gradient, but this looks really cool. It's really hot here. Then this gradient is fading very smoothly. So basically you can divide. Why I'm using one minus, because this gradient is black from here, white from here. If you directly divide, it will make the white here because that it is inverting the color. So I want that white here. That's why first I'm inverting it. So the black is here. When you use divide, that black turn to white. So that's why I'm using it. And then power again. So this looks fine. And you can also use a saturate so that gradient will be maintained, but you have maintained value. Then you can just add it here before that. So you can just add and then add. So basically, now you will have this thing. So this is white from here. And if you want to increase, you can just increase this. So this will be the height. And let's save it. Save it. And now you can see this is white. And now actually the height is too much. I will decrease. But now we need to add that torus. So for that, let me decrease the height. 0.03 is enough. I'll save it, but for now I'll just duplicate this. M water. Let's say this is ripple kind of thing. So it's actually wake ripple. And we need torus for that. So I'll just search a torus. And I have some torus. Let me check if everything's fine with this torus or maybe this. Yeah, this looks fine. The thickness of this torus. So I'll use this one. Okay. So I'll use this in my material preview. And if I preview the blue color, let me see. Looks fine. This looks really fine. And let me use it first. Let me see how it looks. So let's save this. I didn't change anything in it, but I want to remove it. I don't want it, so I'll just connect this and remove this part. Okay, so let's save it. So I have saved and also used the particle color there. So now in the FX, I'll just duplicate. And now in this one, I need first that torus, this one. So I will just use that. And now I want to use this material. So I'll just browse this and use that. And now in this one, I don't want infinite life and I don't want this to spawn once. Instead of, I'll use the spawn rate like 2. And this thing also should be same. And this should actually, let me check both together, looks fine. And I'll take the scale mesh and take the float. And this should be actually scale. It should be scale like this. From 0.5 to 1 maybe. And life should be like, let's say 0.6, 0.4. And it should dissolve actually. And I'll also make this white. Basically, you can use here color, curve. And here I will just reset this and the color. This is white in starting, but the end when it's dissolving is turned to blue because the force is decreasing. Okay. And if I'll see this here, this looks fine. We don't even need to distort it, but it looks fine. And I'll just make this little more aggressive and with the WPO, like I'll make it 40 with the speed, maybe 2.5. So more speed, more WPO, it looks more aggressive. And sometimes it just disappear. And also I want random rotation in it. So it looks same every time. So I will just take this instead of this random, just randomize on the Z axis. So now every time it will have different and it looks fine to me. Yeah, it looks fine. I'll not change anything in it. Now I want to add some more elements in it. So I will add actual ripples and everything. And recently I also created a ripple tutorial some days back. So we can go with that. Let's see what I can add. So let's say M ripple. And there can be two type of ripple. And first is if I open the paint, there can be two type of ripple. First is we can make actual half rings like this. Sorry for the very bad. And then we can use something that's like a trail. So these two type of ripples we can make. So first let's say, see, yeah, this material. So I'll use again that texture aura. And what I'll do, let's make this masked, unlit, and maybe two-sided. I'll take, if I preview this, and let's use a power and preview on a planar, and I'll take vector to radial because I want to like polar coordinates, like it should be like distorted like this. Cool. That line you can remove by using a level in your text sample. Okay, now you can add a pan in it. Let's say 5. and it should actually, I will not, yeah. And I'll take a radial, and then in a radial, if I take this radial looks like this. If I take the sine and make sine 2, it will make this a ring. And yeah, I'll decrease the density actually because this ring is sharper here and more fadier here. So I'll just make this maybe 1 and maybe 2. Okay, then I'll use, you can use this thing, color burn, that actually works like this. See, this is like a ripple. Cool. And of course, you can use here a power again to dissolve it. And let's say I'll take the particle color that will go here, and I'll take this that will go in the opacity, a dynamic parameter for dissolving, dissolve. Okay. And let's just try it. So I'll just save it and I'll browse it, and then I'll go to here. I'll duplicate my ripple, and this time I'll delete this mesh. I'll take the sprite, and in the sprite, I'll use custom alignment, custom facing vector, and here I'll use align to mesh orientation. This will align it on axis, but I want to align it on Z axis. I don't want this, and let's make the size little bigger so you can see. So this is aligned on Z axis, right? Now I will use that material here. That is compile. And if you notice, we have a dynamic parameter to dissolve. That means this dynamic parameter I'll set to 1. And then I'll take here a size parameter that will scale it like this. Not from 0, maybe 0.3 to 1. I'll make the size maybe 300. And let's increase the spawn rate for now just to visualize. And size maybe 1.5 to 1. Oh, I need to increase this. Yeah. And it should dissolve at the end. So if I increase this value, you can see this is dissolving. Like so at 6.8, it's dissolved completely. So you can just make this from 1 to 7 maybe. And life you can make like 8, 6. So we have to check what size we need. That dynamic parameter I need to smooth, so it should be visible at least. It should be little up, so I will just select and maybe I'll just little bit. Cool. These are kind of ring, and then what you can do is I'll actually from before this I'll make a power, so this will be little thinner. Okay, and I'll save it. Yeah, it's better. And actually, instead of using pan here, we can use the offset. So I'll just add and then use a dynamic parameter offset. So it will just offset it randomly per particle instead of animating it. So now here, if I refresh, we can just make this -1 to 1. So it will give per particle a randomness. Cool. Then the next thing is you can just duplicate this material, the ripple one, And what I'll change in this material is just the tiling. So basically, if I preview this, we can multiply this here to change the tile. And when I want to change separate x, y, so maybe x is 3 and y is 0.2. So it will be stretched like this, maybe 0.5. Okay, maybe 0.3 and 4. It depends how you want it. Yeah, let me check it how it looks. And I don't want this sign and everything. I just need a radial direct radial. So it will be like this. Cool. So let me check how does it look. Let me save it. So I will just browse this in here, duplicate emitter, and I'll change the material. Yeah, but I need size maybe 6 or 7. Yeah, just need to tweak the tiling. So basically I'll use maybe 0.7. Yeah, save. So you can make a dynamic parameter of tiling if you want. And then you can, and that torus, like we need to do something with that actually. So with the torus material, if you'll see this one, we can just go into the material. We don't have to do much, just take the step node and connect this here, make this masked, and just make a dynamic parameter. So basically, let me show you how it will work. So if I preview, at 1 it's white, at 0 it's black, and in between it will dissolve it. So just and see this is making that white and that black. So I'll just change this. So now 0.5, this is white. That's my effect. At 1 is fully dissolved. At 0 it's fully visible. Okay. So basically I'm using this and this will go here. So we need to just animate it and I'll call it dissolve, save, and now we can just dissolve it. So I'll just animate it 0 to 1. But it should be like more part of the torus should be visible. So it's like this. And I'll start dissolving it maybe after 0.5. So it will be there. And we can also, I'll add a burst, increase the spawn rate to maybe 5 just for now. Yeah, looks cool. You can also add a glow like a thing in if you want. So let's say if I just duplicate this ripple and just delete this and take the basic sprite again, it will give you that. And I'll just change this like this. I don't want that much, maybe. And alpha maybe 0.2. And you can actually change the size to 4 and alpha maybe 0.1. Yeah, looks better. So what else I can add? Let me check. Yeah, one more thing you can do. Just take one more emitter, a fountain, and you see, you just have to increase the cone angle. Not that much, uh, 170. And I'll decrease the life, maybe 0.5, 0.1. It's 8. Yeah. So these are just drops. And I'll just duplicate it one more time. And in this one, I'll make this velocity aligned and take the size by speed and make it really long. So we will have two type of these, and this look fine to me, I guess. So I'll just make these white element little blue when they are going. So like this one, not this one. This one is totally white. So I want to make it blue at the end, not that much. And similarly this, yeah. So I think this looks fine, and this is very quick and easy effect I created, and I hope you liked it. So thanks for watching. Keep learning. Bye bye.